Hey guys, time for a market update. This will be for Monday, the 19th of October. What's new? Well, there's some changes in pricing. Let me start, first of all, with the market today, what we're seeing, and then we'll talk about what the changes might be. But if we start with yellows, you're going to see colossals and supers still in ample supply, and you're going to see pricing on those comparable to what you're seeing in your jumbos, even small discounts in certain circumstances. So super colossal is probably 6.5 to 7. A colossal is 6 to 6.5. A jumbo is also 6 to 6.5. Mediums, 6 to 6.5. I'm kind of repeating myself there. Reds, you're going to see pricing on red onions a little bit stronger than last week, especially on the larger sizes. Kind of a repeat of what I was talking about last week as far as the 50-pound weights coming up. So you're going to see a jumbo red at 6.5 to 7. And that's on a 25-pounder. You're going to see a medium at 5.5 to 6. The 50-pound prices are up again about $1 over what they were. So a few weeks ago, you would have seen those trading for, $8, $9 a 50-pound jumbo red, and those numbers are $11 to $12 today, significantly higher than what they were. Whites continue to get a little bit stronger, although it did not pop as much as I expected this week. And the pricing on a jumbo white is probably right at $13. I'm sure there's some 14s, I'm sure there's some 12s, but it's right around $13. And it's a comparable pricing, 50 cents maybe down to $1 on medium whites. What do we have on the horizon as far as the outlook? Well, we have harvest completed over the entire Northwest. Washington, Oregon, and Idaho have completed their harvest. We're inside. We now know, not so much as a region, well, we do. The NOA numbers were out this week. We are down as far as stocks on hand. In fact, some of the lowest numbers in 5 years. I can't spit those exact numbers out here because someone will get upset with me, but those numbers are down. If we were in a traditional market, I would expect prices to strengthen and continue to strengthen based on that market report. But with COVID in our midst and this new era that we're living in, I don't think I can make that kind of assumption. So just know that the volume is the lowest that has been reported in 5 years over the entirety of the Northwest. There's especially low numbers coming out of the Northeast and the Midwest. The thing to look for on the outlook is the tremendous amount of volume being pulled from Mexico. That is no different than it has been for the last few weeks, but that is starting to have its impact on the value of the entire crop. In fact, I would argue if not for Mexico at this moment in time, we would probably have even more reduced pricing. Mexico is kind of holding up the umbrella for us at the moment, helping us to eliminate some of the supply or reduce some of the stocks on hand. And that's especially the case, again, with reds and whites. Remember, whites only make up about 5% of the total plantings in the Northwest, and reds make up maybe 15 to 20% of the entire planting in the Northwest. So when Mexico comes in and pulls that extra volume, they tighten up the supply very, very quickly. There's not ample backup supply that's going to keep the pricing steady like it will with yellow onions. They can take a lot of yellow onions before you see any impact on the pricing, but I am very confident that we will see something happen within the next 60 days or so, even more so than what's happened up to now on red and white onions. The last point I'd like to make has to do with freight. Freight. I haven't seen challenges like this for several years, and it really only goes back to maybe 2017. 2018 was a little bit challenging. 2017 was even more challenging. We're seeing more loads available than there are trucks to take those. For the first time in my career, the people with the rail sidings have the advantage, and the receivers of rail are maintaining that advantage. You're not seeing that in that reflection in higher prices, and I'm very surprised that the UP has maintained their pricing as inexpensive compared to trucks as they have. I would guess that they have reduced volume on the rail lines based on the fact that other industries are suffering, manufacturing industries are suffering more because of COVID closures and stuff like that. So I guess they're keeping that discount there so that they can continue to, have the rail cars on the line that they need. So good for you, bad for me is the fact that if you have the ability of getting rail cars and bringing rail cars in, you are going to save money. Bad news for me in that front is that I don't generally do rail cars, but someone out there is. So there is someone out there that does, and I'm sure that they'll be more than happy to help you. And if you don't know, let me know. I'll be glad to put you in touch with somebody who can get you rail cars. If you want to receive rail cars and save yourself some money and you can handle moving that kind of volume. In closing, I might just mention the fact that you will want to keep a close eye on freight, on transportation, especially as we get into these colder days. Flatbeds, which we use on a significant basis in onions, will be going away to certain shipping regions. You're not going to be putting flatbeds together to go to Chicago, to New York, into the northern part of the U.S. And as that option is taken away, I think you'll see the prices increasing and the availability decreasing. And this is not a point about the fact that freight may cost you a little bit more money. I think it's a situation where you want to really pay attention to the shippers that you're using, their ability to cover you on freight, and keep in mind that this situation could get tight enough to where loads are sitting on your books and they're not shipping until that truck is found. In other words, you're going to be shopping for freight and wheels and not for your produce. And I don't think that's just onions. I think that's a lot of things: apples, onions, potatoes, everything shipping out of the Northwest. In fact, it may even be more challenging with those things that must 100% of the time ship in a refrigerated truck. We're fortunate with onions that we have a little bit of variability, a little bit more, what's the word I'm looking for? A little bit more durability in the onion and its ability to handle, changes and fluctuations in temperature and still